Hello grade 8 students. For today, we will be discussing factoring quadratic trinomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. In today's lesson, you should be able to factor quadratic trinomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Let's have a short recall on what is quadratic trinomial. When we say quadratic trinomial, it is an expression of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where x is a variable and a, b, c are non-zero constant, wherein a is our leading coefficient, b is our linear coefficient, and c is our constant term. From our previous lesson, I already gave you various examples regarding quadratic trinomial, and as you observe, all the values of a is equal to 1. The question here is that, what if a is greater than 1? Or is the process in factoring quadratic trinomial is the same if a is greater than 1? These are the questions that we need to answer after this lesson. Let's have a recall again regarding the steps in factoring quadratic trinomial. First, check if there is a common monomial factor and if it is a perfect square trinomial. Second, find AC. To find AC, just multiply the leading coefficient and the constant term. Third, find the factors of AC such that their sum is equal to B. For AC finding, when the constant term of the trinomial is positive, look for two numbers with same signs. And if the constant term of the trinomial is negative, find two numbers with opposite signs whose sum is the coefficient of the middle term and whose product is C. And lastly, write the factors as a product of two binomials. Let's have our first example. We have here 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. The first thing that we need to do is to check whether if we have a common monomial factor. As you can see, we do not have common monomial factor. Another thing to consider is that if this polynomial is under perfect square trinomial. This expression is not under perfect square trinomial because the third term is not a perfect square. Therefore, we proceed in finding the AC. As you can see, the value of A is 2 and the value of C is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Therefore, we will look for the factors of 6. Here are the factors of 6. We have 1 and 6, 2 and 3, negative 1 and negative 6, negative 2 and negative 3. From these factors, we need to find two numbers wherein when we add, the answer would be 5, and that is 2 and 3. The next thing that we need to do is to copy the variable and the leading coefficient of our first term in our given trinomial. That is 2x. Again, we need to copy the leading coefficient and the variable of our quadratic trinomial, which is 2x. The next thing that we need to do is to input the factors we obtained from 6 in our binomials. So we will have 2x plus 2 and 2x plus 3. Next, after we write this one as the product of two binomials, let's take a look whether there is a GCF on each binomial. We see that 2x plus 2 has a GCF of 2. Therefore, we need to divide the first and the second terms into 2. When we simplify this one, we will come up with the answer of x plus 1 times 2x plus 3. Why do we arrive with x plus 1? Because 2x divided by 2 is x, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Therefore, the factors of 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 is x plus 1 times the quantity of 2x plus 3. To verify whether our answer is correct, let's have our checking. On previous example, we have the answer of x plus 1 times the quantity of 2x plus 3. To check whether our answer is correct, let's use FOIL method. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 1 times 2x is 2x. And 1 times 3 is 3. When we simplify 2x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 3, the answer would be 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. As you can see, our answer and our given is the same. Therefore, the factors we obtain are correct. Now let's have our second example. We have here 4x squared plus 4x minus 15. The first thing that we need to do to check whether there is a common monomial factor. 4 and 15 doesn't have a common monomial factor. Therefore, let's proceed on finding AC. We know that the value of A is 4 and the value of C is negative 15. 4 times negative 15 is negative 60. Therefore, let's find the factors of negative 60. Here are the factors of negative 60. In this set of factors, we need to find two factors wherein when we add, the answer is 4. And that is negative 6 and 10. Why? Because negative 6 plus 10 is positive 4. Our next step is to copy the leading coefficient and variable in our binomials. So we will have 4x. And then, we need to input the factors of negative 60 in our binomial as well. So we will have 4x minus 6 times the quantity of 4x plus 10. The next thing that we need to do is to check whether those binomials are divisible by a particular number. We know that 4 and 6 are divisible by 2. And 4 and 10 is divisible by 2 as well. Therefore, when we simplify this expression, we will have 2x minus 3 times the quantity of 2x plus 5. How do we come up with this? 4x divided by 2 is 2x. Negative 6 divided 2 is negative 3. 4x divided by 2 is 2x. And lastly, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Therefore, our final answer is 2x minus 3 times the quantity of 2x plus 5. Let's have our third example. We have here 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. The first thing that we need to check is if there is a common monomial factor. We know that 2, 6, and 4 has a GCF of 2. Therefore, our common monomial factor is 2. The next thing that we need to do is to get our remaining factor. We can get the remaining factor by dividing the common monomial factor in each term of our quadratic trinomial. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Therefore, we have the factored form of 2 times the quantity of x squared plus 3x plus 2. As we can see, x squared plus 3x plus 2 is under quadratic trinomial. Therefore, let's factor it out. Let's find AC. We know that the value of A is 1 and the value of C is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Therefore, let's take a look on the factors of 2. We have 1 and 2 and negative 1 and negative 2. Let's find the factors of 2 wherein when we add those two factors, the answer would be 3. And that is positive 1 and positive 2. Let's write it as the product of two binomials, and do not forget to write your common monomial factor in front of your factors. Therefore, the factored form of 2x squared plus 6x plus 4 is the quantity of x plus 1 times the quantity of x plus 2 times 2. Let's have our next example. We have here 12x squared minus 9x minus 3. The first thing that we need to do is to check whether there is a common monomial factor. And we know that 12, 9, and 3 has a GCF of 3. Therefore, our common monomial factor is 3. Let's find out the factored form of this given. So we will have 3 times the quantity of 4x squared minus 3x minus 1. How do we get our remaining factor? Again, we divide the common monomial factor on each term of our quadratic trinomial. As you can see here, our remaining factor is under quadratic trinomial. So let's find our AC. A is equal to 4 and C is equal to negative 1. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Therefore, let's take a look on the factors of negative 4. We have 1 and negative 4, 2 and negative 2, negative 1 and 4, and lastly, negative 2 and 2. From these factors, we need to find out two factors wherein when we add up, the answer would be negative 3. And that is 1 and negative 4. Again, our first step is to copy our leading coefficient and variable from our quadratic trinomial and then input the factors we obtained from negative 4, which is positive 1 and negative 4. After we input the leading coefficient in the variable as well as the factors of negative 4, let's recheck whether the two binomials that we have is divisible by any particular number. 4x plus 1 doesn't have GCF, but 4x minus 4 has a GCF of 4. Therefore, we simplify this one. We will come up with 4x plus 1 times the quantity of x minus 1. Our last step, and please do not forget, is to rewrite your common monomial factor in front of your cofactors. Therefore, the factored form of 12x squared minus 9x minus 3 is quantity of 4x plus 1 times the quantity of x minus 1 times 3. It's your turn. Factor the following. We have 6x squared plus a minus 12 and 30x squared minus 13x minus 3. Pause the video and we will reveal the answer afterwards. Here are the answer from our previous exercises. We have 3a minus 4 times the quantity of 2a plus 3 as the answer on our first example, and 6x plus 1 times the quantity of 5x minus 3 as the answer on our second example. Thank you, that's all. Do not forget to access your Creeper account for a short assessment. Thank you and God bless.